mind that I could be alone, but you never far from sight. As far as we go, and through the darkest night, I hope it brings you peace of mind. I know we'll be alright, no matter where you go.
For ice sorrow, on the car bonnet. Her boyfriend Leo, man, can't manage. On a real bond, girl is ready for do damage. She say, even if them call her a thought, me she normal is high sorrow. On the car bonnet. Her boyfriend Leo, man, can't manage. On a real bond, girl is ready for do damage. She say, even if them call her a thought, me she normal is high sorrow. Like Moses take my rod for the legs to the ocean of flow, but this on the Dead Sea. Car bonnet out, she scream off key. Even if I want night, she a forget me. I tell score, but the buckle but my senses. So my angle the curves just like my Bentley. The way the grass and mash it up, she not forget me. Then she whisper gently. She said for I sorrow, on the car bonnet. Her boyfriend Leo, man, can't manage. On a real bond, girl is ready for do damage. She said, even if them call her a thought, me she normal is high sorrow. On the car bonnet. Her boyfriend Leo, man, can't manage. On a real bond, girl is ready for do damage. She said, even if them call her a thought, me she normal is high sorrow. Real mechanic, me use the driver.
Did you check the time?
I did, baby, but what you want gasoline?
I mean, I would, baby, but you know you have this super important meeting today. I don't want you to be late.
Alright, I'll be out in a minute.
So why's this door locked?
Oh, you need to get out, I got you.
Hurry up.
Oh, hey, babe. Hey, listen, I'm gonna pick up dinner on the way home, so you ain't gotta worry about cooking, alright? Mm-hmm. Alright. Jesse!
Dear Travis, when I can't sleep, I'll count the times the ceiling fan blade makes the round trip. I'll listen to the sound of the motor first to find a rhythm, then start counting. But you know me, I'll lose count or forget which blade I was on, so I decided to put one of the glow-in-the-dark stars on one of the blades to keep track of my count. The most round trips I counted were 975. 975 times that glow-in-the-dark star circled above me. I've always wondered if you cared if I slept. Hell, do you care about anything besides yourself? Tonight, I learned that answer, unfortunately.
Dear Jesse, I heard you counting. The many nights I laid next to you but wasn't there. The highest number I was able to listen to was 353. Man, those were some of the rough nights. Surprisingly, your voice was still able to put me to sleep. Reminded me of those old nights in college when you used to read me those drama-filled books. That old feeling was comforting. Our marriage started to feel cold.
It buzzed, and buzzed, and buzzed, making me lose my count. I was going for a record, Made it to 908. Hell yeah, I was pissed. The buzzing stopped and the phone remained lit. Curiosity killed this marriage. 3 missed calls from your secretary. Remind me what she needs from you at 3:18 in the morning? I'll tell you what she's calling for. Everything I don't get from you. When I saw Melanie's name on your screen, I didn't know if I should have killed your ass, busted you in the face, or bleached your little expensive suits. I wanted to scream to the top of my lungs. I wanted to sit in a corner and cry. After my questions to God, I began to think, where did I go wrong? Where did I ignore the signs? The next thing I know, I'm reminiscing.
Curiosity didn't kill this marriage. We did. You know exactly what was going on if my phone was buzzing at 3:18 in the morning. You were content with what was wrong with our marriage. When you decided to ignore it, so did I. You didn't do anything wrong, and you chose to ignore the signs. I was the man you allowed me to be. This is the only version of a man that I was taught. Pops cheated on Mom so much, I didn't know any different. I really can't say if I would do anything different. But you gave me plenty of chances that I didn't take.
I wasn't supposed to go out that night, but I aced all of my finals and I owed it to myself. My hair slept with the humidity, and Big Sister Tracy helped me with these basic makeup techniques that stay fresh all night. When I got there, the DJ was playing the best of the late 90s and early 2000s. I walked into a bunch of seniors taking shots and playing spades, and you were one of them. We locked eyes immediately. You sat tall and confident, and I was attracted to everything about you. I didn't want to stop staring, but my friends started to wave me down. You seemed to bop your head to every one of my favorite songs, so I went to the DJ and put in a request, hoping it'll bring us together. When you asked me to dance, your voice was very white deep, and what you said made sense. Being with you that night made falling in love so easy. After the party, we became inseparable.
Man, nothing worked in my favor that night but meeting you. I lost my wallet, and my homie's car was almost towed. At that point, we were not in the mood for celebrating. It was a moment to celebrate, though, being the first in my family to graduate from college, with an accounting degree at that. Those spade games were the way I made my money back. But nothing felt better than seeing you walk into the room. I was waiting for the perfect time to speak. But the first dance was all I needed. I knew life would be a bit easier with you in it. And I was right.
You made me promise that after you opened your accounting firm, I'll become a housewife. I became that. I was on my way to becoming a lawyer and graduated first in my class. But I opted to become a small-time baker instead. I tweaked all my grandmother's old recipes and made it into mine. But as your wife, I had a choice between a career or family. I chose a family. It was always me, my mom, and my sister. That was our norm. My mom worked hard, got us through college, and spent her days caring for us. She lived and died, never falling in love. Tracy married early and popped out 4 kids, and I found myself craving the same. While you were out working long hours at the office, I baked and sold goods. That gave me purpose. I managed to build a small business from referrals and networking events. Everything was fine. I was okay as a home baker and a housewife. It wasn't until my ovaries started to reject my desires for a child that I started to lose myself. After our last miscarriage and the many treatments that didn't work, I felt like less than a woman. Your family badgered me and asked all the hard questions. Everyone wanted to know how and why I couldn't keep my babies. I couldn't explain it without falling apart, and you never did. You just watched. I guess you thought I was less than a woman too. You stopped being supportive. I carried the burden and guilt all alone. You were nowhere to be found. After a few years of trying, I suggested adoption and you shot it down. You don't want a kid with pre-existing issues. You want the Carter gene to carry on. It was that or nothing. Surrogacy was out of the question since we spent all of our savings on IVF treatments. Things began to fall apart.
The job market was at its lowest, and your 9 to 5 was our only income. The savings were running out from treatments, and finding a job felt impossible. I was submitting at least 50 applications and going on 2 interviews a week, but we were barely making ends meet. Imagine how that made me feel like a man. It was time for me to start my own business. I was giving us a new life, and I thought that was enough. I never wanted a housewife. I knew you were career-driven when we met, but I forced you to change that. I thought that the right thing was for you to stay at home, support my dreams, and raise our kids right. Mom's consumed herself with work and never paid much attention to Pops. I didn't want the same thing to happen to us. I was starting an accounting firm, and she was my first investor. I was becoming a businessman. And Mom said we needed to create an image. I needed you to be a trophy wife for the both of us. But if anything killed this marriage, those miscarriages did. We settled into our lives. Happiness was dinner with friends once a week. We had a routine and we were slowly growing apart. A baby was supposed to rebirth our marriage, give us a reason to fall in love again. Yes. The genes thing did matter, but it was more than that. I needed an excuse for you to get up off my back. We had lost 3 babies at the time, and I started to feel like God was rejecting me. I didn't need the adoption to be rejected too. This is the part where I'll admit that I stopped trying in our marriage. I became selfish and inconsiderate, and I am sorry for that.
Not being able to be a mother, I began baking again. This time, I went all out, and I didn't care how you felt about it. Social media gave me free advertising, and farmers markets gave me space. I purchased banners and fun giveaways for my best customers. You thought I was doing too much, and you were extremely vocal about it. You'd argue with me hours before I start selling or accidentally drop my ingredients. You'll always promise to replace them and never did. My customers started to become my community. I didn't have much family or friends. Baking was my distraction, and it filled a void. Not being a lawyer or mother became devastating. The only thing I had was baking. I needed baking like I needed you. I would cook a new meal every night and have the house smelling good before you came home. And I kept my business running. When it's all said and done, I was enough. At least I wanted to believe I was.
I was okay with baking until it became more than just a hobby. It made me feel like I was being replaced. You found something that made you happy, and I didn't like it. I was jealous of my wife. Yet, you were suffering this whole time. You forgave me for the wrongs that I didn't make right. You allowed me to put my hands on another woman and expected me to continue to love you the same. Melanie became my peace away from home. She was a listening ear when you shut me out. After years of dealing with Melanie, there was no coming back from that.
I am, 14 years of a marriage with you, 33 years old with a law degree I never used, student loans never paid off, a semi-successful home bakery, malfunctioned ovaries, and a husband that sleeps with the trick that makes his schedules. To make matters worse, about 2 weeks ago, I received a phone call telling me I have 4 months to live. 4. I knew something was wrong when the doctors kept suggesting frequent appointments and more testing. I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and the mass is inoperable. I denied temporary treatment and threw away the support group pamphlets they gave me. That day, I drove home in silence, too shocked to cry and too numb to speak a word. Of course, you come home, shower, and hop into bed without mumbling a word to me. You probably didn't even realize that I was laying here awake in the dark. I can't be surprised. It's been like this for months. I can handle our marriage falling apart, but this shit seems unfair.
Nah, this is shit I cannot understand. I don't want to understand it. My mind cannot fathom to understand. I've read over 10 times, but nothing is making sense. Why couldn't you just tell me this in person? Ovarian cancer? I keep hoping this is all a joke and you'd come home and I'd get my shit together. You need me. And I don't know where you are.
Why am I writing this? Why I'm not telling you in person? I don't need sympathy for my disease, so I'm doing this for me. I'm learning how to embrace it rather than be upset about it. Truth be told, you're the only man that I wanted to love. We were so young when we met, didn't know anything about life, but we created our happiness. It seems like things got harder when it was supposed to be easier. We built our love and then stopped trying. You needed me to settle down so you could follow your dreams. I did that. You needed your ego stroked by more than one woman. I allowed it. But the battles became bigger than you and I. You never protected me from your mother. I didn't have the answers for everything, and I couldn't rebuild this marriage. I was consumed by you. I forgot about me. The thing is, treatment would have given me more time, but it wouldn't have saved my life. I'm leaving everything that I've known behind. I'm hoping to die peacefully while appreciating Jessie. Tracy is handling everything. Feel free to reach out to her. She's expecting to hear from you. Thank you for the growing pains and the good years. Until the day we meet again, goodbye, Travis. I love you. Your wife, Jessie.
This is the part where I get choked up and can't think of the words to say. Life took a toll on us, and I didn't know how to fix it. Moms were invasive because I allowed her to be. She was the only woman that I thought understood me. I talked to Mom about everything. She was there when I was too numb to face reality. I knew how much you loved me and the sacrifices that you were willing to make, like giving up your career and catering to my needs. Words couldn't explain how much I've loved you. And I do believe you left knowing that. You were the first woman to believe in me, wholeheartedly. You didn't want anything from me but love. And I couldn't give that to you. I promise. I won't suffer and regret for long. Nothing seems impossible to conquer. That sounds corny. But why hold back now, right? You'll never hear my side of the story.
Tracy, but Jessie,
I could be alone, never far from sight as far as we go. Through the darkest night, I Hope it brings you peace of mind. I know we'll be alright now. Been trying to delay what the days take. Find myself locked up. Can't escape this, there's no way. Now haunted by the mistakes. Big stacks like chips on a small blind. High tax to pay for lost time. Build yourself up from whatever's left of us. And the parts that stayed behind. Parts that stayed behind. Parts that stayed behind. No matter where you go, you're always on my mind. I could be alone, but never far from sight. As far as we go, through the darkest night, I hope it brings you peace of mind. I know we'll be alright now. 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 No matter where you go, you're always on my mind. I could be alone, but you're never far from sight. As far as we go, and through the darkest night, I hope it brings you peace of mind. I know we'll be